turns 36 this month, is recovering from off-season surgery on his collarbone, and the Cowboys aren't making it a secret that they're searching for his heir apparent in this year's draft. Now, according to our Todd Archer, the Cowboys have set up pre-draft visits with 6 quarterbacks, Skip Bayless. What should the Cowboys do in the draft at quarterback?
Stephen A., predictably, rumors are rampant about what my Cowboys are going to do. All sorts of stuff is flying about they might even trade up for the first pick to take Carson Wentz, and I say baloney to all of the above. A lot of smoke screens out there. Where there's smoke screens, there's not always fire, certainly when the Dallas Cowboys have the 4th overall pick in the draft. There is no way I want them to use the 4th pick on whichever quarterback might fall to fourth, whether it be Carson Wentz or Jared Goff. Now, I favor Jared Goff slightly over Carson Wentz. I'll be the first to tell you I did not watch Carson Wentz. But from what I've seen of him, I like him very much. The way he carries himself, the way he handles himself through his workouts, combine, pro day, I get all that. But first pick in the draft, it's just too risky because you don't have enough body of work. You don't have enough evidence that he will translate to the National Football League. So I'm going to stick by what I said from the start. I am a Cardale Jones fan. Apparently, maybe Dallas isn't because he's not one of the 6 quarterbacks they brought in. They brought in Connor Cook. I would take Cardale Jones with the 2nd-round pick, high in the 2nd round, and I think he'll last there, but I'm not sure about that. With the 4th overall pick, I've already gone on record that I would take Joey Bosa because it's such a need position, and I think you'd have a 10-year Pro Bowl caliber defensive. You could end or tackle, whichever way you want to play him. But I'm not saying that he's J.J. Watt, but I think he's going to be a very good, long-time NFL player. Now, Jalen Ramsey is just on fire right now. Stock is just going through the roof. Des Bryant's on the record as saying he would take Jalen Ramsey with the 4th overall pick. I'm talking about the corner/safety from Florida State, who's a sensational athlete. I get all that. So I would not be unhappy if my Cowboys took Jalen Ramsey there. Even Jameis has been campaigning in Tampa for them to somehow acquire Jalen Ramsey. That would not bother me in the least. So either Jalen Ramsey or Bosa with the 4th overall pick, and I'm sticking with Cardale Jones somewhere down the line. 2nd round, heck, if you told me you could get him in the 3rd round, I'd be even happier because the defense needs help first to me.
Skip Bayless, I don't have a problem with it. I like Shaq Lawson out of Clemson, but I'm with you about Joey Bosa. You can obviously use help at the corner spot. You're going to be keep Orlando Scandrick, obviously. Yep. He's going to come back from his injury. But at the same time, they got to lower the number that Brandon Carr is going to cost them because he's got like a $13 million cap hit. I get all of that. So they can use help in their secondary. They clearly can use help on the defensive line because they need to get at the quarterback. You don't know what the situation is, even though Sean Lee came back last year. The bottom line is you can use some help at the linebacker spot as well, which is why I like Shaq Lawson because he had 12.5 sacks, and people view him as a linebacker on a professional level. I'm a Cardale Jones fan. I think his upside is tremendous, so I'm not averse to what you're saying in that regard. Whether they go to linebacker route, the defensive lineman route, somebody in the secondary, they need help all over the place defensively, and we understand that, and that needs to be a priority. So whatever direction they decide to go in, I'm good with that. But as it pertains to their quarterback spot, let me say something to you, Skip Bayless.
I knew this
because you're not going to get away with this with your slick, duplicitous self. See, what happens, Skip, is this. You're talking about Cardale Jones, and, you wouldn't trade up, and you talk about all of these things without mentioning Tony Romo, Mr. 2 playoff victories in his 10-year career as a starter. 2 playoff victories in his entire career. Just pathetic, okay? So what I'm trying to say to you is this, Skip Bayless. If the Dallas Cowboys decided to trade up, if the Dallas Cowboys prioritized taking a quarterback, who are you to whine and moan about that? because God knows they need it. Tony Romo, the collarbone injury, the back injury. Lord knows what else is going to come on with him herniated. This list goes on and on. I got some reports here. I mean, the hand, the shoulder, the hand, the back, the upper arm, the collarbone. Every time you turn around, there's something wrong with him. Doesn't stop him from shooting basketballs at Cameron Indoor Stadium for Duke. I mean, he did us a favor, Skip, because he veered away from playing golf because, my God, he's got to focus on football, and he doesn't need to twist his body and twist his back. Oh, he doesn't need to do that, Skip Bayless. So he stopped playing golf, really, at least to some degree, okay, because he wants to prioritize football. Here's the reality. The Dallas Cowboys should do everything they can to get their hands on a quarterback, because not only is he unreliable health-wise, but even when healthy, you don't know what you're going to get from him, particularly in the big moments, because there have been very few big moments that have been provided for the Dallas Cowboys by Tony Romo, because he's only got 2 playoff victories in about 10 years. So let's not ignore that. We understand that they need help on defense. We understand that quarterback per se shouldn't be the priority over fixing other things in the eyes of Skip Bayless. What I would contend to you is that you might want to rethink that, because without grabbing a quarterback, that leaves you even more reliant on Tony Romo. And we know what happens to the Dallas Cowboys when they rely too much on Tony Romo. Whether it's due to injury or play, whatever is going to happen,
help me out here.
Will happen.
Memory gets a little foggy, but 2 years ago, when Tony Romo stayed healthy almost the whole year.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yes.
I think he led the entire NFL in QBR. In fact, I think he lapped the whole field in QBR. And I think he won 2 playoff games because he got robbed in Green Bay, where he should have won that game. He won 2 because we know it was a catch. So that was 2. And they had already won at Seattle in the regular season, so they would have won at Seattle. They would have gone. They would have won at Seattle. They would have gone to the Super Bowl, and then who knows
2
what
years ago, almost a good season.
Yeah. Okay, so right here, right now,
even though it was a catch,
if we could put you and this one right here on a lie detector.
What?
And I gave you choices on a lie detector between Tony Romo and Eli Manning. You would take Tony Romo in a heartbeat, because you would know that Eli is highly capable of leading the league in interceptions again for a 4th time. Leading the league in interceptions.
Don't speak for us. Eli has 2 rings. You're in a crucial with them showing. I believe in Eli. Yeah, go, Stephen.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I forgot. I don't know if you Skip. Forget the 2 Super Bowl rings. We'll ignore that, because that's just too obvious.
The 2 lucky ones, but that's okay. I'll give you those.
They're 2. At least he was in a position to get lucky.
Beside both of them.
At least he was in a position to get lucky, unlike your guy who couldn't find luck if it slapped him.
Yeah, he didn't have enough help.
It doesn't happen for Tony Romo.
LeBron, he didn't have
so
enough
here's the deal. We'll ignore that, Skip. We'll ignore that. Instead, we'll pay attention to the best ability between the 2. And it's no comparison. Do you know why? Because Eli Manning has availability. He shows up every Sunday.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does.
Maybe not.
Help me out. When was the last time the Giants made the playoffs? When was it? Was it 6 years ago or 7? I'm losing track.
It's been a rough.
Yeah.
We like to rotate every 4 years.
Nobody will knock Tony Romo's decision making when he's got a lovely wife, lovely family.
This doesn't matter.
His decision making there is impeccable.
Yeah.
No. Excuse me. Don't interrupt. Hold on. Y'all got to hear my point. What I was trying to say was, I'm staying on the field. Off the field, incredibly nice guy, incredibly great family. He's a lovable guy, so he gets everybody caught up in that. And people gloss over his lack of production when it counts. That is a fact.
Okay, but here's also a fact. You agreed with me constantly during the season. If Tony Romo and Des Bryant had stayed healthy, my Cowboys would have, and here's my quote, run away with the NFC East. And you readily agreed with me every time I said it. You said, yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, but that's a product of the competition that existed in the NFC East. The Redskins weren't that impressive.
Didn't he stay healthy? That's what you just told me.
They did everything. Oh, the Giants' defense was horrendous.
He didn't have enough help.
We all know that.
Okay.
Their defense was disgusting.
Okay.
All right, and we know what an abomination Chip Kelly turned the Eagles into. Dallas would have won the division by default.
Oh, by default. I think they would have run away by default. And right now, if I rank the quarterbacks in the NFC East, anyone would agree with me. It goes Romo, Eli, Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford.
Bayless.
I'll take Romo all day, every day.
Bayless, you're changing. You're trying to change.
No,
you're trying to change the narrative.
No,
we ain't talking about regular season. We're talking about what Tony Romo does in the playoffs, which is close to nil, nothing, nada in 10 years.
When he finally had a hint of a defense 2 years ago, he could have gotten to the Super Bowl.
1 year?
Yeah.
1 year?
And the best
what about
line
the other
ever.
10? What about the other 9?
Yeah.
You know what I love? We have to go to break, Stephen.
Stop with your Tony Romo nonsense.
Whenever you bring up the Cowboys, it's always if. It's always revisionist history. If this happened, if. You don't give anyone else an if, just the Cowboys.
The last 4 years, you got no legs to stand on, Miss New York Giants fan. You got nothing. You
Guess
got
what?
nothing
We're
to
coming
come
back. We spent a lot of money. I hope it works.
5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there.